Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of SafeDefend Facebook Live. We got the A-team back. We got Jeff Green, founder of SafeDefend. Jeff, welcome. Appreciate you having back. I say the A-team, really the most popular guy we've ever had on the show.
It's not me. Yeah,
this guy has got like a cult-like following. Craig. I mean, everybody wants to hear from Craig.
I kind of want to be Craig when I grow up. So,
Me too. Yeah, but I do appreciate you being here with us. I know you've been out all week. You're out in Vegas working with some great customers, SafeDefend customers out there, meeting with many new SafeDefend customers, and that's
really,
kind of one of the things I want to talk about.
Yeah, hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have some pretty exciting things to announce from out there. So,
I got some greats there, of course, all over Kansas, Oklahoma, Ohio. Got some really cool things going on. Got some conversations going all over the country, really. But
it's been busy.
Which brings up the topic I want to bring up today. Out there doing all this stuff, seeing all this stuff, we're seeing, of course, SafeDefend has been doing this for 9 years. Has a very long track record. One of the downsides when there's something that's visibly a very hot topic, you get a lot of people coming out of the woodworks that all of a sudden are experts in a certain career field. Talk to me about that. Are you guys seeing that at all? Where you getting these people just kind of throwing companies together and trying to bring up solutions?
So, I haven't seen, direct solutions yet, but when we're having conversations with superintendents, they're saying they're getting multiple calls a day from companies that are popping up with a variety of different things. And it's really going to be interesting to see what some of these are really trying to take advantage of schools and put in place. We're going to be 10 years going strong here come February, and throughout that time frame, we've seen so many companies come and go in this space. We've seen a ton of app companies just continue to just kind of fade away. Door locking solutions were super popular for a while. They've come and gone. This is really a space where you have to have something that's meaningful, effective, beneficial, and really that works. And that's, and SafeDefend has that proven track record. It's, people take advantage of a tragedy. People take advantage of about any situation. That's not to say some of these ideas may not come and be good ideas down the road, but the vast majority are getting put together just to take advantage of especially the Uvalde side of things, but just the current state of our country in general with school safety.
Well, and I think that, we to the point, substance, right? You got to have some substance to what you're bringing. And I think what concerns me, I think a lot of these companies are well intended. I think many of them are really wanting to try to help, but because they don't really understand the space or they don't really understand what the real challenges are inside a building, and I think that's where SafeDefend's unique. You being an administrator, Craig, and we've got educators, law enforcement people that work within SafeDefend that make up SafeDefend. There's, and to me, this is the magic pill for SafeDefend. You don't say it's any one thing; it's a multitude of things that have to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think when you have, because we've talked about apps. I mean, we think there's a place,
right?
We don't necessarily for that, but it's not a solution. It's a component piece of an overall bigger solution.
Right.
And I think that's what Uvalde, when they were talking about, they had something that wasn't hardwired, right? And said they were trying to notify, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
Well,
we see that. Yeah. And we're going to see some failures in some of the systems that are going in now that sound like a good idea or are really flashy. Wireless solutions just are not stable and typically robust enough to trust life safety to it.
Right.
We've talked about this before, but you never see a wireless fire pull station. So we've got some wireless systems that are coming in out there. Uvalde principal, they had relied on an app. I don't know what app they were using, but she said, I tried to send out a lockdown through our app. It didn't work. And to spend the money, to invest the time, it damn well better work.
Well, when you're talking about life saving, you got to, and this is my term. I'm not saying these are teachers or administrators, but you got to Phil Nichols proof it. You got to idiot proof it, right? You got to make it to when your fine motor skills aren't working as well as they should because you're completely freaked out. That what you're doing is easy. It's simple. It doesn't require you to be thinking at your best. Because I promise you, if something bad's going on right outside your building, you're not going to be thinking clearly.
No,
you're not. And it's so. And I think that's one of the things we talk about. We got to quit lying about what this is really about. We got to quit lying to each other about it. People are saying, well, this will be. Well, no, it won't. I mean, if there's 40 rounds being discharged outside your door, and you've got 25 first graders that you're trying to protect, and I want to go home and see my family too tonight. You're not going to be thinking clearly.
No.
And so that's why the system has to be simple, concise, easy, and effective, most importantly.
And again, that's really, no matter, how robust our system is, notwithstanding behind the scenes, the end user, all they need to do is touch the reader. That's it.
That's all it is.
That's it. Everything else is getting handled for them. They're able to start managing that crisis so they can get home. We just did some training in Alabama again for one of our best customers who's been with us a long time. We trained all their staff again this year. They had upgraded to the new system, and just the feedback from the teachers is just so overwhelming. They're thankful. They're grateful for the a solution that makes them feel that they've got a chance and they're empowered and can manage this. But when it comes down to it, they also love the simplicity, and they don't ever want to have to use it, but they're damn glad it's there. But just knowing that by just placing their finger on a device, everything else that they need to have taken care of for them is taken care of. So now they can start protecting their kids and themselves.
And that's when that obviously the content of the box, once they've done that, place their finger, box is open, they can then evaluate, okay, what do we need to do in our situation, in our room, to make sure our babies and our staff that we're as safe as possible while the good guys get here and take care of the situation. And I think one of the things, I heard a law enforcement guy tell me this a couple weeks ago. He said, the bad thing about Uvalde is that now everybody thinks that that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And law enforcement's really feeling that around the country because we know, because you work with so many law enforcement officials around the country. That isn't the norm.
No,
I mean, that is not the norm.
No.
I mean, law enforcement is going to be there. They are going to be there to help you. And I know what we just saw happen in Uvalde goes against everything I just said, but that was just the perfect storm where absolutely nothing was handled correctly.
Right.
And it's unfortunate.
Well, and we have such a great relationship with law enforcement across the country.
Yeah.
And I trust my life and my family's life to any of them that I know that are in law enforcement. That doesn't mean that there, situations like Uvalde can't happen because not everybody's willing. Although the vast majority of law enforcement will be the first ones in the door. They will be the first ones that are willing to get shot at. They'll be the first ones that are willing to go in there and take care of the situation, getting them there as quickly as possible. Uvalde's, the timeline, law enforcement was there very quickly, but then we had the breakdown in so many ways, like you talked about. But, law enforcement is still by far, the best people in position to respond and will respond, when needed. So,
yeah, it's like I said, it's like anything up there. We always seem to focus on the most recent one, right?
Right.
Here in Oklahoma, it wasn't a school; it was a hospital administrative building. But we had a mass shooter that just. So here in Oklahoma, a lot of people are talking about in the private business, and I think that's a segment that a lot of times they don't think about. I mean, you think about hospitals, many buildings in hospitals, manufacturing. In Oklahoma, again, unfortunately, a few years back, we had a horrible situation at a manufacturing facility where gentleman came in and wreaked havoc on a facility. Literally the first postal shooting they ever documented was in Edmond, Oklahoma, unfortunately. So it's not always schools. Schools are the ones that we talk about, but it's not just schools. It's, if you own a business or you're responsible for large amounts of people in public office spaces where people can come to, this is a topic you need to be thinking about. It's not just a problem of schools, K-12, universities, tech schools. It's everywhere.
100%. Well, and the reality is, and we've mentioned this in other Facebook Lives that we've done, but we're in a mental health crisis in this country. It's manifesting in violence in many ways for many. Of course, not everyone. Everyone is dealing with this differently, but we're seeing, like you said, not just schools. We're seeing it take place in businesses. We're even getting parades or, people. It is an incredibly challenging and in many ways scary time of history for us right now. There's just so many people that are feeling that violence is the best response, probably more so than ever. I mean, if you look at 2021 had 34, going back to the school side of things, had 34 school shootings. That's not the number of injured or the lives we lost, but that was just actually active shooters in schools was 34. That's the highest ever recorded. And in 2022, from January 1 to May 31, we've had 27 school shootings alone in that time frame, and we still have half the year to go.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, you're right. It's the mental health. There's a lot of reasons for that. Right. Obviously, we don't have to sit here and replay all that. I think we all know what they are, but it's we've got to start addressing it. That's one of the things I'm proud of you guys. With SafeDefend, you guys are creating great training programs and solutions that can help people, whether it's in private business or schools or wherever it may be. I know we're working on some things with mental health, and we've been talking about it for some time. It's a tough one, right? It's a very, very tough one, but we've got to address it, and we've got to equip, and we've got to get to places where we can get resources and help people before they get to a point where there's an act of violence.
Well, and one of the potential future customers we have, it's looking really good, and I'll be excited to announce them here down the road in Las Vegas. He and I sat down. We'd talked pre-COVID. They were very interested then. Of course, COVID just kind of put a lot of stuff on hold. When he and I sat down on Wednesday, he flat out said, we're ready. He said, with the world the way it is, we're ready to get this going. So we've got everybody on board. We've got the financial side taken care of, because this is something that needs to get done. And this is somebody who's many years in law enforcement, trains on active shooters, looks at anything and everything. This is not in any capacity a rush decision for him.
Right.
They've put a lot of thought into this. They've looked at the other systems that are out there, but they know with the world the way it is now. I've never had a meeting where I sat down and the first words out of the potential client's mouth is, "We're ready to go. Let's get this done." So it's, SafeDefend does something better than anybody else. We're in a world where there's so many unknowns and so much higher risk than we've ever had. And, that's why SafeDefend's still here almost 10 years later, when these other companies that are popping up, like we talked about at the very beginning, coming with just a quick idea, some of them are trying to make just quick money. Some of them are trying to help, but really don't have the experience, the knowledge, or, even the right idea necessarily to get it done. But here we are.
Well, we won't name the company, but another client of our firms, we got you guys together And these are wicked smart people and good people. I mean, they're good, honest people. They want to do good, but they don't know what they don't know.
Right. Right.
You know, when it comes to this topic, and it's just this. You know, this isn't like opening a car wash, right? Or I mean, there's a little bit more that goes into this, but you know, I always want to wrap up on something positive.
Yeah.
And I think there's, we're getting ready to go back to school.
Yep.
A lot of schools, went back this week. Some are going back next week, but
it's here. My kiddos yesterday and today, first days of school.
Yep. Again, so. Yeah. So it's here. So give teachers, administrators one pearl that they can do to help make their classroom, their building, just a safer place for everybody to be in. What if there's one thing you would tell them, what would it be?
Yeah, absolutely. And it really comes down to, get away from the mindset that it can't happen here. Again, the possibility exists, although the probability is very low, but you just get out of that mindset that it can't happen here. Operate under the mindset, okay, if it does, what am I going to do? That doesn't mean live every day in fear. That doesn't mean you need to be thinking about this constantly. That doesn't mean you need to pull attention away from your main job, which is, getting our kiddos ready for their life, the future, and hopefully taking care of us down the road. So,
right.
But you've got to stop believing it can't happen here, because right now it can, and that's probably the best mind shift you can make right now, and still go on with your life and your focus and making great things happen with our kids.
I appreciate that, Jeff. I know that these kids mean the world to you. That's why you started SafeDefend. You spent your whole life serving kids. So I appreciate that from you. And I thank you again for your time. Good to have you back home.
Well, it's good to be back home. Definitely.
It's going to be for a short window. I know you're hitting the road again next week.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot going on. But we want to thank everybody for joining us. Again, you can check everything out on Facebook, on SafeDefend's Facebook page, as well as SafeDefend.com. If you have any questions, you can just do Jeff at SafeDefend.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Jeff, thank you so much, brother. We'll talk soon.
Sounds great. Thank you. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, bud.
You bet.